I have heard your prayers, boys, and the 4.7% of my audience that's female. We are returning to The Witcher 3 in 2022, and I'm not gonna lie to you, this episode is just Geralt being a horny boy. Alright, so we're still searching for Ciri, and I'm beginning to think about writing a book of her disappearance just to make some money off my missing daughter. Of course, I'm kidding. Geralt isn't the McCanns, but what he is a good citizen of Velen, proven by the chivalrous act of saving an elf who was trapped in a burning house. You really do think that in the 1200s, someone would have copped on by now that wood and straw houses isn't the way forward. I mean, have they never read the story of the three little pigs and the big bad wolf? Anyway, I kill the bandits and free the elf, who was really keen to get in on the action as she pulls a bow and arrow out and begins shooting trees. Great job there, pointy ears. You really showed those three dead guys how women are a superior gender. As a thank you, she says I can take her life savings, which is inside of a log behind her house, and it's a whole 20 crowns. Jesus, that was her life savings. I almost feel like I shouldn't take it. She clearly needs it more than I do. If I had time, I would even offer to take her for a latte at the local cafe, maybe grab her some bread and some warm blankets, really improve that lifestyle of hers. But we need to be getting off to the big city of Novigrad, because Ciri could be there, but first, I've got some more important business to take care of, like getting laid. Yes, time may be precious, and Ciri's life could be in danger, but Keira Metz is a baddie, so, as the saying goes, hoes before surrogate daughters. I pull up to her gaff and damn, those mushrooms must have been powerful because she's got a full-on hologram throwing shapes in her living room. Before we get permission to smash, we must first do her a favour and cleanse this small island of a curse because there's ghosts haunting it, and I guess the Scooby Gang were busy or something. Because everyone else is too much of a bitch to rid this curse, whoever lifts it will actually have rightful ownership of this island, so I could be assisting Keira in the beginning of her plan for world domination. I choose to sail over to the island because it's a beautiful morning. I mean, just look at how calm those waves are, and ignore the fact that I stole this boat from some working class folk. The island's inhabitants are actually totally not chill, as it would turn out, so I run away from them like a real Witcher would, and I end up finding this old creepy tower, but at least it's not dangerous like the outside was. Oh wait, it's filled with ghosts that I can see by shining this green lantern lamp on, so that's much more pleasant. Here we have it, actual evidence of ghosts, and it only took Geralt 2 minutes, unlike all those ghost shows that feel the need to show you a replay of someone breathing on the microphone 100 times. Also, why does every host of a ghost hunting show give off small dick energy? I mean, what is small dick energy? You're in the presence of it now. Despite what horror movies may lead you to believe, these ghosts are actually quite friendly. I even make friends with a girl who holds the curse on this island. She tells me she died because someone gave her a paralysis potion and rats ate her alive. Definitely not on my top 10 list for ways to die, but it gets worse because her boyfriend just left her. So now, because even once these hoes die, they don't let you live in peace, the only way to lift this curse is to deliver her bones to him and give him to give her a proper burial so she can finally forgive him. So I rock up to the little shack and I'm like, yo, here's the bones of your girlfriend that got eaten alive by rats, big man. Have a sweet afternoon. As I'm walking away, I hear the dude scream, so I go back to find out the ghost was having me on. She's actually just killed him and is now free to roam the world. So I let a dangerous spirit out into the lands, but I also did lift the curse on the island, so it wasn't a complete failure. I give the good news to Keira and leave out the setting a dangerous ghost-free part because we're not married and she doesn't need to know everything that goes on in my life. She's like, let's go Geralt, nothing turns me on than a man who can lift a ghost curse. So I'm like, yeah, let's smash now, and she's like, yeah big man, let me just turn these mice into horses real quick and talk about turning this one night together into a fairy tale. I would have been happy to just do it on a burgundy tufted rug, but I don't know, women I guess, so I agree to be her Prince Charming for the night. We agree to race to the meadow because nothing's more romantic than friendly competition, but the little snake attempts to block me right out the gates. She really wants this dub. I take an early lead, but this horse is no roach and has stamina worse than me in the bedroom, so we end up losing. We enjoy a lovely meal in the meadow and she then asks me to close my eyes and count to 10. When I open them, she's disappeared. This is actually the same way that my dad left me. I do, however, find a trail of her clothes, leading to her in lingerie on the shoreline, which, luckily, isn't also how I found my dad. We make sweet love right there on the sloppy sand, but it just so happened she brought the tufted burgundy rug from home, which is a massive win for me. So yeah, we cuddle afterwards, and I lay there thinking about how this is the 1200s, and there's no protection, so she could be rife with chlamydia. But anyway, she whispers something in my ear and puts me to sleep, and when I wake up, she's gone, and I'm fully clothed. It's so weird, I'm used to passing out and my clothes being removed, not my clothes being put on. I really appreciate her going through the effort though of putting my clothes back on. It can't have been easy. I mean, have you ever tried to put chain-plated synthetic leather on a limp body? It's a real challenge. Once again, missing from my life, this is beginning to strike a lot of resemblance to my dad. Turns out Keira has headed to the island to steal some notes about dangerous research because she's in a lot of danger, so I do the noble thing here and tell her to head to Keira, where she will be safe. With that whole ordeal down, it was now time to head to Novigrad in search of Ciri, but also in search of even more booty, in the form of Triss Merigold. The city of Novigrad is a modernised, relaxed place where people can just chill and fish outside the river that runs around the city walls. They also regularly burn witches at the stake because this is the 1200s, and that was just normal practice back then. If you did anything out of the ordinary, like mix your Fanta with your Pepsi, you're a witch, that's it. You're going to be burned at the stake while the whole city watches. Anyway, after watching the nice afternoon entertainment, I made my way up to Triss's gaff, but there was a couple of local thugs ransacking her front garden, so we end up fighting due to Geralt not being able to control his emotions. These guys actually do have chins better than Cody Garbrandt though, so I make it an even fight by blasting fire out of my hands until I force them into submission. They tell me Triss is probably hiding away in the underground with the rest of the sorceresses, because as we saw earlier, I don't think the city takes too kindly to anybody that's not a human. I do, however, take the opportunity to search Triss's house and sniff her bed sheets, find a rose that I gave her a few years ago, so that's sweet that she's kept it all this time. What a star. When we do find Triss, it's fair to say that things have gone downhill for her in recent times. She hasn't started taking meth or anything yet, but she has gone from a powerful, highly regarded political sorceress figure to clearing out rats in the sewers for a bit of extra gold. Just check out who she's working for as well. Old matey looks like the kind of guy who hangs around at children's parks for fun. Anyway, we don't get too long together because after a few developments, I have to leave Triss and attempt to find my old friend Dandelion, as apparently Ciri was with him while she was in Novigrad. Since I've arrived in the city, it's been nothing but work, so I decide to take a bit of me time and participate in one of the local activities, bare knuckle boxing. My great granddad was actually a bare knuckle boxing champion, no joke. That man put food on the table by putting his life on the line and handing out beatings while I sit here earning a living by making jokes about how my uncle used to touch me. Times have really changed for my family. So before the fight, I down a protein shake, smash out 20 push-ups, and remove my t-shirt even though there's no rule against keeping it on. I just really want everyone to appreciate these abs that I put in all the hard work for. The gains don't sleep. Archibald O'Neill is my first victim, but let's be honest, with a name like Archibald, my man never stood a chance. Next up was Iron Mortimer, which sounds like a B-Tech Iron Mike Tyson, so once again, with relative ease, I leave this man laying in the mud. After these two impressive wins, I can now go fight for the title of Novigrad champion, so let's get this bread. My opponent is Durden the Traitor, which I feel like is a Fight Club reference. Oh, just broke the first rule. But my dude is less Tyler Durden and more Deji, as he can't box to save his life. It wasn't really tough competition, I literally felt like I was fighting blind children, but nonetheless, I am the new champion of Novigrad. Let's go, boys. With a newfound confidence and spring in my step, I head over to the inn that Dandelion owns, but I just find old matey Zoltan, who's obviously Scottish because he's a dwarf. Why is every dwarf in fantasy lore Scottish? This really is racial generalization typecasting at its worst. Anyway, Dandelion isn't knocking about anywhere, and Zoltan doesn't know where he is, so the only way to find him is to talk to every woman he slept with in the last 2 weeks, as Facebook wasn't around in these days, so I can't just stalk his pictures. This begins a process that literally takes me an hour in real life of going to talk to all of these women just for them to say they've not seen him. I even somehow got dragged into giving one of them sword lessons. I've got no clue how this happened, but I go back to Zoltan having learned nothing new, and he's all like, oh yeah, lol, he was seeing this girl who plays music at the local inn, silly me. Cheers, Zoltan, mate. Not like I could have spent that hour, I don't know, hitting the gym or hitting my girlfriend. You know, actually doing something productive. So this girl, who goes by the name of Priscilla, actually gives us some useful information and says Dandelion attempted a heist that went sideways, so now she's pretty sure one of the 4 men who run the underworld are keeping him hostage. One of these men is Siggy Reuven, who owns a local bathhouse, so I pay him a little visit. Of course, I slip into bathhouse appropriate wear, aka a small towel that slightly reveals my ballsack whenever I sit down. Reuven has got his boys over, and it just makes me think. Whatever happened to the days where you and the boys could hit the bathhouse together and give each other back rubs? As it so happens, a few assassins rock up to take out Reuven, which seems real cheap to get him while he's got his towel on and no armor. However, the towel does allow for a lot of freeing movement, so I'm able to fight back with a lot of acrobatic ability. Anyway, old Nate's name isn't even Reuven, this is Dijkstra, who Geralt knew from a while back, so he asked Geralt for a favour to help solve who stole all of his gold. Of course, we know it was Dandelion, but we can't sell him out as Dijkstra will probably body slam him into next week, so we dig a little deeper to only discover that a man called Menge has seized the treasure and has Dandelion, so that is who we pay a visit to next. He bums the eternal fire and loves burning witches at the stake as we saw earlier, so I take Triss in with me to gain access to Menge, where upon arrival, I just tell him I'm going to kill him. then proceed to kill him. Yes, I could have negotiated and found out where Dandelion was, but honestly, this dude deserved to die, as he's the reason that sorceresses like Triss are having to hide away. So yeah, no closer to finding Dandelion, and now I have blood all over my clothes, so that's my afternoon gone as I have to visit the dry cleaners. Dijkstra knows that we know that Dandelion took the treasure, but is like, oh, I'll let you off this time, Geralt, you big lovable murder machine. I decide to put the search for Ciri, and now Dandelion I guess, on hold because Triss could do with our help. She has received an invite from a mysterious person who is apparently trying to organise getting all the sorceresses out of Novigrad. They asked to meet at one of those fancy parties where everyone wears an animal mask, which I always low-key thought were just cover-ups for swinger parties. She's asked me to go as her +1, so I swing by the local shop to buy us a couple of masks, and I also look at getting myself some fancy clothing, but I haven't got the kind of money to be going spending 355 crowns on a velvet button-up. I do feel like I would be a bit out of place in this party though if I went in full armour, so I instead just decide to strip down to nothing but my boxers and go with that outfit for the night. Check out my boy rocking up to this party in nothing but his tighty whities and a wolf mask. This is Alpha. We blend in with these rather rich folk by talking about rich people's subjects such as fancy wine, designer clothes and child trafficking. No one comments about my lack of clothes, which makes me feel more comfortable with the situation as well, but I also really should have brought a jacket because this nighttime chill is hardening my nipples. We have some time to kill before meeting the person that's breaking the sorcerers out, so Triss has 3 sips of wine and then starts blaming the alcohol on her getting flirty with Geralt, but we all already know it's these lightly stained boxer shorts getting her going. Anyway, we have the option to kiss Triss, and this could be seen as taking advantage of a drunk woman, but yeah, this is the 1200s where no one really cares about women's opinions in this day and age, so let's go. We secure the kiss, and clearly it's not as easy as Keira earlier. This one's going to take a little bit more work, but we've got our foot in the door. Triss rides out with her people, and we'll have to continue this romance another time, but a drunk kiss is a solid foundation to every good quality relationship. We will have some more Witcher 3 coming soon, and also some more videos on different games because that's what I do. I don't know why I'm explaining that. I play games, I post them to the channel. You probably know the routine by now. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it, and a big thank you as always to those of you who've clicked the join button and become a member of the channel. It really does mean a lot. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. I just want to give a massive shout out to my motherload Voiy Bois and above, Björn van den Hatter, TheGamerTeg, Zyfin Productions. Thank you guys for your support.